Hello, people! How are you today? We are looking at hot takes, and also I forgot to start the music. Let me start the music.
Hey y'all, Gum here.
And Speedy.
Hi.
So, funny story. One day I was on Twitter. Yes, God's mistake, but no one's perfect. And I was seeing this trend going around where everyone decided, yes, we should chain Patrick Star down like an animal and tag, what's a situation that'll get you like this? Basically, the Flynn Rider thing, born reincarnated all over again. I decided, hey, what if I was a soulless follower of trends and decided to take it upon myself to do just that, but for this thing I'm way too obsessed with? And then we got this, and I can see.
I love how you're
obsessed
talking
with
in the exact tone you do during like the ranking videos.
I want to have a bit more pizzazz, more zestiness, more I have a presence kind of feel.
CJ, what is your question, CJ?
I think loud. I know what it is. Everyone's waiting on you, CJ. This awkward silence is your doing.
This is entirely your fault, CJ. Actually, it's kind of the stream delay's fault.
I see problems with Venom versus Bane.
I seem to recall being able to speed up the stream input delay. But anyway, okay,
whatever. Well, so yeah, I'll just say it now. You guys may have noticed that Hyper Starman isn't here.
No,
unfortunately, he was devoured by a pack of wolves.
He'll be back by the time Cole versus Alex comes out.
Roughly 2 to 4 business days, give or take.
Okay.
Another Tournament of Champions thing. I guess we can get this out of the way real quick. Mac versus Epo, I think, is what Red's going for. Obviously, he already posted about that. Groove versus Megamind is what I'm going for in spirit, because, again, I'm poor. And that's about anyone important that we need to address here. So.
Okay, what are you voting for, Speedy?
Little Mac versus Epo?
Fair enough. Yeah.
All right.
Little Mac versus Epo is not going to win. Let's just get that out of the way. But it's about the support.
Anyway.
But, look at that, Gumball. You're up first. You have to defend your honor. Rapid fire round. Bieber vs. Black deserves to be hated, but people need to understand that it's a product of its time. Mario vs. Sonic 1 is greater than 2. The gap is immeasurable. And Season 2 isn't even close to being the best season anymore. SpongeBob vs. Aquaman is still funny.
Okay.
Okay, so...
The first one. Let's go at this one at a time.
Okay.
Bieber vs. Black. I want to say this stemmed not by, like, an intentional malice or anything, but Bivweed and Nemesis did Season 1 rankings and just kind of did rapid-fire reviews of certain episodes. When they got to Bieber vs. Black, obviously they shat on it a lot, for good reason, but also, whether intentionally or not, they're trying to hold... Well, they're not trying anything, but some people got...
Careful!
Some people got... No, I'm trying my best. I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus.
Unintentionally, maybe? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, unintentionally. Ever since those videos came out, other Death Battle reviewers and whatnot decided, let's reignite the spark of how awful this episode was, as well as hold it up to today's standards. Like, this is what Death Battle still does. And no.
I want to quickly interrupt just to say, no, we're talking about hot takes, just about Death Battle in general. We're not talking about matchups. I'm sure some matchups will appear here, but that's not the point. Right. No.
Yeah, anyway, this episode, obviously, it did not age well at all. I think unanimously across the board, unless someone brings it up in this thread, be it Q or a comment that disagrees, we'll get there. But from what I have seen firsthand personally, Everyone agrees this episode isn't good anymore. It has aged terribly. It is a product of its time, but it's also just that, a product of its time. And lots of people seem to miss that memo because they still hold it as the worst episode of the entire show. And I get the thought process. I really do.
It's overhated. We don't need to delve that much into it, but people really need to remember that's kind of just what the internet was like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Back in the day, those two
Yeah.
got shit on so much to the point where like everyone was doing it. Obviously, it doesn't make it necessarily a good thing, but like that's just how things were. And no, I honestly do agree with Gumball here. I think what people do with this episode nowadays,
People
acting like
People interpret it as Death Battle leading the charge and not hopping in on the trend. I think that's a good way to describe it.
You guys are harping on this one too much. Anyway, Mario vs. Sonic 1 is greater than 2. Yeah, I agree.
To be continued. I feel like
so
long story short, you're going to be seeing that take, or the opposite of that take, a lot. I went through the QRTs. I'm not the only one who talks about this episode in particular. Other than maybe Ben versus Hal, this is the most talked about episode in this entire thing.
Yes. Honestly, I do think it's the opposite. I will admit that 2011 has a better fight, but 2018 has everything else over it. That's mainly my main issue here. Because
I think people already know. If you know me and Speedy, you already know that basically it's a running joke that we're on opposite ends here, exaggerated to the nth degree. And it may or may not be the reason Season 5's ranking may come later than most other previous seasons. We'll have to see.
Got a hot take in the chat. I think Tony versus Lex is a bit overrated. I think that's somewhere in here too. But
we'll get there. That was Phantom, and I think we can talk about that a bit later.
Cool.
So
season 2 isn't even close to being the best season anymore. People obviously have a lot of nostalgia for the early Death Battle. Maybe not season 1 because that was so rudimentary. But season 2 was the first time they had real production values.
The highs of season 2 are still high. I feel like that should go without saying. But also, you got to think about the lows in the middle of the roads. As a whole, if we're talking about season 2 as a whole package, and you still consider it the best season of the show, please take off your rose-tinted glasses.
Gumball, I think someone gave you a DM. I think Hyper gave you a DM, actually. Well,
let's see. What's that for?
do you see it?
That's not Hyper. That's me saying. That's you saying to let you talk. All right.
So what do you have to say?
Season 2. Season 2 is definitely one of those seasons that I don't know. Like, I think it had like one of the best writing periods for that.
I will leave you guys to it for just a
second. What was that? No. Season 2 overall has like the better writing, I think, but it also arguably has like probably it was definitely the peak of Death Battle. So I guess saying it's overrated is like, I don't know. I guess I can see why people consider it to be overrated, but also like why people have it in such a high regard. Because it's like when Death Battle peaked overall, I would say. But that's just me.
All right, and then the last one, SpongeBob vs. Aquaman is still funny. This is weird because seems to be like a popular take in the casual side. In the inner circles, though, it's much more split. Because from what I've seen, people do not like how Superman Aquaman was treated.
Superman Aquaman?
Super Friends Aquaman. Super duper pooper scooper Aquaman.
Yeah. I think we already kind of went over our opinions on it in the ranking video. If you haven't checked that one out, please do. So yeah, not much to elaborate here on.
The only real stance that changed is I was saying in the video that is this really a hill people want to die on? And turns out the answer is kinda. And I'm seeing the arguments being made. I don't agree with them, but I see that they're being made. And it's a really interesting conversation for me.
You're both wrong. Is that settling it?
Wait, both wrong about what?
I don't know. I wasn't listening to your conversation. I was just making a joke about how you're stupid and dumb. Woo!
Oh boy, that's going into stream highlights. Let's go. All right, Speedy had some hot takes, and I don't know if Red did, but after Speedy...
I did not post any hot takes.
Well, I guess after Speedy, you could... Yeah.
I don't know where Speedies are, so I can't pull them up on screen quickly.
I mean, I did post in the grouping chat, but I could just easily just read them off again. Okay, let me just find it. Yeah, it's over here. Okay, so first hot take I posted was Spider-Man 2099 versus Batman Beyond and Lucario versus Renmon are not bad episodes at all. People just write those episodes as bad just because of the short fight animation. And
I agree on Batman Beyond versus Spider-Man 2099. I don't agree on Lucario versus Renamon, which is funny because do you guys remember when that was one of my requested matchups? Love it.
In what list? In what list again?
I think that was the first one. I think that was the first one.
Lucario is my favorite Pokemon, and
ooh,
do not like
that's a hot take. Pyro in chat. Snake vs. Sam is the most boring episode on Death Battle. Damn.
Most boring? That's a very hot take indeed. I would probably say
Lucario versus Renamon. So they stole a fan render for the thumbnail.
Okay, no.
I don't think
that's not relevant. It's true, but that's not relevant to this.
Well, I'm just talking about like the episode itself. They could have had a chance to credit it at this point somewhere in the description. I just feel like pointing that out because it feels like you don't have to go that out of your way to finally go and do that, right?
I do think they probably mistook it for an official render. So, but
yeah, obviously, they did. But at this point, the mistake has to have been pointed out to them, right?
It was. Someone on Twitter did post, yeah.
But anyway, it's not really relevant to the episode.
And then the end of Renamon's analysis, no one needed to see that. No one.
I gave them. I thought that was funny, even though it was really weird.
See, for me, the fight animation, beyond even just being short, it's anticlimactic. It gets slower the longer the fight goes on. Which
I want to point out the 1 minute melee of the same matchup is longer. Like if you take the beginning and endings of that animation as well.
Which I ultimately do kind of agree with, that the animation is definitely the weakest part. But I think the episode itself, when it comes to the writing and arguably some of the research, but like definitely the writing and some of the animation.
Do y'all think Terry winning was Miguel's canon event?
Yes. And since we're going on to Spider-Man 2099 versus Batman Beyond, no, honestly, I think that animation had a lot more going on than people would made it out to be. Obviously, the last part where they go into the ground battle was
just
definitely felt.
To me that the music's been looping.
Oh. Like, yeah, the ground battle. Yeah, no, the fact that we got cooked out of the ground battle was definitely disappointing. But like, it had a lot of like good choreography when it came to the to the fight on the rooftops. I honestly don't think that many people talk about it. And
I do find the episode to be one of the weaker of its season. I don't think it's awful.
Yeah, no.
All right, Speedy, next take.
Yeah,
next take.
I guess.
And we really should get to the other people's takes soon. So go on.
Yeah. Okay, I don't believe. Okay, yeah. Here's my probably. I would argue my hottest take, but whatever. So I don't believe Death Battle has ever been biased in any of the research, but I do believe they have been wrong at worst.
It's so funny to me.
And yes, I know. But before you continue, I just gotta say one thing. Yes, I know there's that one episode, Yang versus Tifa, and yes, no, I still hold that same opinion I had.
Yeah, I don't think it was biased.
I
think they were just stupid. No offense. No offense.
There are so many episodes you could point to. We're like, no, they're not biased. They just
didn't think that well. Again, season 1 and season 2 is probably like the best examples of this because, like,
I love the soccer ball math. How little sense that makes in context. I just want to bring that up. The soccer ball math.
No. Zelda literally has the Triforce's wisdom and has all kinds of magic at her disposal. But have you seen how hard she can kick this soccer ball? Not as hard as Peach, I can tell you that much.
When I say the soccer ball math, I'm obviously talking about Zelda versus Peach, for those of you who don't recall. But anyway.
That's what happens when you don't give the other opponent any good durability feats. But next.
It's so funny. The hardest one to defend from bias accusations isn't Yang versus Tifa. It's the other season 2 episode, Guts versus Nightmare. But no, they just genuinely thought, oh, Guts can power through that. He has plot armor.
See, and I see you, Granville. Agreed. I like Yang vs. Tifa to this day. Like, I don't like every single thing about it, but it's a fun animation if you can ignore the janky hair sometimes. Torian was not the best at animating hair. I think we can all admit.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, next take. Akuma vs. Shao Kahn is flawed, but an overall decent episode. Not much to say here. I do like the episode. Maybe it's just me being extremely apologetic about an episode that I really wanted to happen, but I do think it has some things going on that I think people just ignore.
I don't really have much to comment on that one, so...
My thoughts in the Season 8 rankings still stand. I think in sticky, stinky poo-poo.
We don't need to elaborate that much on it. So next is Thor vs. Wonder Woman is the most enjoyable Thor episode in terms of writing a structure.
I'll kill you! I'll kill you!
Ignoring that, it gave actually Thor like the best. It had the best Thor analysis.
It did
by far, yeah.
Which is funny.
Wonder Woman didn't, and it was at that point where Wonder Woman felt fresh instead of being reused for the second time. She-Ra versus Wonder Woman. No, honestly.
Gee, I wonder what other Wonder Woman episode you could have been talking about there.
Well, that's the funny part. It felt literally like they just copy pasted everything from that episode over to that. Yeah.
Oh, that's because they did.
Well, yeah, I know. That's the point. But
Thor versus Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
the consensus being, at least on Wonder Woman's side, that it's her best episode and it's literally unfinished.
So, actually, I guess once you're done with your last hot takes, I have one hot take to give, which I don't think is true anymore, but...
All right, yeah. Speedy, one more?
Actually, you can go ahead because I do have, that thread actually has a...
Okay, my Death Battle hot take that I used to say a lot, I don't think it's the case anymore. They've gotten a lot better with them, but I used to have such a difficult time actually paying attention to what was going on in the Sprite episodes compared to 3D episodes. 3D episodes felt so much cleaner to watch to me, but the 2D episodes a lot of the times just felt cluttered. I don't know how to describe it, but this went on through maybe season 5, and then it started turning around.
Never heard that one before.
Are there any notable examples you can try and illustrate your point with?
Oh, easily Scrooge versus Shovel Knight. That one was so difficult to watch because they blended into the background so hard.
I'm surprised you didn't say Venom versus
I like how you pointed to Scrooge versus Shovel Knight for that, not Venom versus Bane.
Venom versus Bane is a different type of blending into the background. Scrooge versus Shovel Knight is a good example for me because the background was just as pixelated as them, to the point where their outlines were not nearly as pronounced as I think they should be. And yeah, Akil, it was the same for you when you were younger. Yeah. It's not a problem nowadays. Nowadays, obviously, the sprite animations are incredible, but yeah.
Alright, I can see where you're going with that. And then
Generally speaking.
Yeah, okay, the next hot take for me is... Yeah?
Alright, go ahead.
No, no, you can go ahead. Just say what you want to say.
I was saying that I know what the next one is going to be.
Yes. But, yeah. So, season 5 is the best season. That's pretty much it. Best season. Season 10 is getting there, but season 5 is still the best in my opinion.
I cannot see it. I'm sorry, man.
I'm sorry, but like
I know that season 5 got a lot of praise across the board when it first came out, and then the sands of time kept creeping in, and then the cracks were forming. Way more abruptly than other seasons.
And Abbas, really quick, I just want to comment. I wasn't necessarily saying I don't like Scrooge vs. Shovel Knight, but that was an issue I had with the animation.
So, besides, okay, yeah, I will definitely admit, season 5, kind of a slow start. But the fact that it introduces so many, like, new franchises, like, in my possession, and the fact that most of the episodes in that season felt very heavily requested. Like, you have some really big ones, like Thanos vs. Darkseid, Crash vs. Spyro, and Jotaro vs. Kenshiro.
Hello,
Trashy.
Trashy has joined. We're streaming right now, for the record.
Oh.
Say hello.
Hello, people. Hello, people.
This is the hot take stream.
I was just talking about how the season 5 is the best season of all Death Battle.
Speedies?
Yeah, we
just got through Speedies, basically.
Oh,
and we're about to get on to all of the other hot takes.
Oh, okay. If you were, I was going to say, everyone watching right now, I don't care if you agree with him. Be sure to make him seem like the minority. Okay.
Okay.
But no, season 5. I want to elaborate more on it, but at the same time, I feel like I would be here all day.
We got a stream to get to. I'm pretty sure season 5 will pop up again.
Probably.
But
I don't have much to comment on unless I want to go in detail on how much I like each season 5 episode, which I'm not going to do right now.
Well, I'm not gonna stay. So.
All right. Well.
All right.
Good cameo, right? Trashy.
Yeah. No. Again. I kind of wanted to say some stuff about the season 5 thing. It won't be long. I promise. Yeah. I was talking about earlier how how season 5 introduced a lot of new franchises. Like in rapid sessions, and how most of the matchups were very requested, which definitely helped it feel more standout-ish.
What if we had gotten Carnage versus Darth Maul, right?
Boy, I'm not sure if that would have made. I'm not sure how people would react to that, but I don't even get why that's a matchup, anyways.
They're both red and black and cool to people who are edgy teens. That's self-deprecating because I really liked Carnage.
And like, I can say that only 2 episodes in that season were genre like either bad or just unmemorable in general, which I can't say for a lot of other seasons. Looking at you, season 6. Yes.
Oh look, Hyper got back. He got undevoured by the wolves. Nice.
Oh, what did he say?
Hyper. Did you see my
his hot take is that hot takes are pretty spicy.
That's true.
Go back to the wolf den.
By the way,
Alex versus Carnage was another consideration they had, yeah.
By the way, Hyper's hot take is that he personally thinks Alex vs. Cole is an overrated matchup, and he regrets actually, advocating for it. So, yeah.
No. Okay. Anyway,
if that actually happened, could you imagine?
Are there replies to your comment? And nothing I feel like I need to reply to. Okay, so we can get into other people's hot takes now. How about that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yay.
Okay.
We're gonna go QRTs first, right? Or are we going by comments?
Oh, I thought
No,
you
we're
wanted to
going
do
by-
comments first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
comments first. Okay.
But actually, no, wait, hold on, wait, hold on. Wouldn't it be better if we just did the QR? Because,
No, but I want to get in the comments stuff.
Nah, let's do the
Yeah.
comments.
yeah,
Okay.
but,
Let's do the
are always
comments!
Okay, but comments are always gonna, like, pop up, so, I don't think we're gonna be finished with them. That's, like,
What do you mean?
the
There
main
are only
issue.
133 comments.
I mean, there's gonna be more, but okay, sure.
There's not going to be much more. This isn't a new tweet. This is from the 17th.
We're not going to go through every single one, just like the interesting ones, I think.
Okay, then you guys better get ready, because we're not gonna stay here for that long.
Again, it's only 133. Tracer versus Scout was completely accurate. There was no way in hell that the Scout, who was just a guy with a shotgun and a baseball bat, while Tracer is literally a girl that can go backwards in time. See, the time manipulation...
That's the wrong take.
The time
That's
manipulation...
the wrong takeaway.
The time manipulation is fair. That is a big advantage that she had. But Scout being just a guy with a gun and a baseball bat, bro.
Yeah. He has a soul that, can make him indestructible. I think that's a big
no,
deal.
it's not indestructible. No, stop saying that, please.
What?
Stop saying
It makes him so...
You're
what the bonk does is it makes him so fast that he can't get hit. He does not
really?
get hit by anything when he drinks the bonk.
I thought it just made him indestructible.
No! Death Battle acted like that, but it was just straight up wrong. In fact, it's one of the biggest critiques about the episode. They just completely misunderstood what bonk does. Like, for instance, when you use bonk in-game, it has a big graphic that says miss every single time someone tries to shoot you. It doesn't hit you. It misses.
Oh. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Though,
Anyway.
I will say... Yeah. No, never mind.
I'm probably not going to delve into the replies to all the hot takes, but, the next one. Ruby shouldn't be on the show. Why?
You mean, like, they said the franchise, right? Not the character?
Yeah, the franchise. I don't have... There's not much to comment on here, but my only question is, why?
I think I know why. Like, RT bias, even though Weiss fucking died. And then if you want to go down to the DBXs, do you remember what happened to Blake?
Ethan, no, I don't think it's supposed to be phasing. I'm pretty sure it's literally just he's so fast that he dodges all the bullets. Anyway.
Alright, so what's next one?
Though Bill had an amazing fight, its reasoning was awful, their explanations were so bad that you might consider it rigged. I disagree.
What?
I disagree with the research. But I agree with all of their logic. I agree that the explanations they gave were good. I just disagree with the things that they had in there.
Yeah, I
wish
disagree
I
with
elaborated
the fact that they think it's biased. Hell no.
You can definitely...
Yeah. But yeah, I disagree with the explanation being bad. The explanation was good, I just don't agree with the stuff that was in it. Okay. If Zero... Sorry, you can go.
go ahead. No.
If Zero returns to Death Battle, I'd prefer him not to fight Shadow or Meta Knight. We've already had him fight Metal Sonic, and while Meta Knight would be cool, I'm concerned as a Zero fan. Not because he'd lose, but I think the fight wouldn't be super character-driven. Which is safe to assume that's something they want. I think that's fair.
Yeah, no. I don't get Zero versus Meta Knight. From a character standpoint, from a dynamic standpoint, it just sounds like they got better. Like, video game swordsman. Probably because they're a little bit edgy or something? I don't know.
I think it's because they're, I don't know, kind of like the mentor-ish? Something like that.
And, okay, yeah, I guess I should go back for a second because Michael mentions, just the Reddit AMA. No, I disagree with more stuff than the Reddit AMA. The explanation on how the unicorn hair barrier works, I think is just flawed, and the way they present it in the episode gives you information that is kind of slanted in one direction. The whole power absorption thing. The fact that it doesn't work instantaneously, so trying to argue it should affect Bill the same way is kind of comparing him directly to a random totem pole, which is weird. But the video they use for it doesn't show the multiple strikes the totem pole made. Sorry. Anyway.
Next take?
Captain America versus Kamen Rider Ichigo is one of the most overrated matchups.
Hell yeah! I only say that because I don't know Kamen Rider.
I don't know Kamen Rider, so I can't comment. So I think you get off.
I feel like that's kind of the point. I don't know Kamen Rider. Maybe we should have Kamen Rider be on the show so I can understand if it's a good matchup or not.
Yeah, I think
it exists to be an entry point, doesn't it?
I guess it's a decent entry point, but a lot of Kamen Rider is just completely
Are
different
there
from
any
itself.
Kamen Rider fans in the live stream? Can you tell us? And we won't acknowledge it because we don't care.
We will look at as much as we can crossover. We're starting with the comments, though. We haven't had the next one. We haven't had a good Transformers episode.
There's only been 2. So,
and I guess neither of them were good.
All right, Speedy,
I guess that's kind of weird.
You want to gush about season 5? Here's your chance.
What did they say something?
What do you think about Optimus Prime versus Gundam?
Was that season 5? It was.
Yeah, that was it. That was season 5.
Yeah.
That was season 5. Optimus Prime versus Gundam, really good episode. I like it. Don't really have much to say about it.
I think it's just fine, personally. Not really that interesting. But
I think it was the best for all of us, and I kind of like the matchup.
People complain about Optimus's character beyond the fact that he really killed him. No, it goes beyond that.
Okay, the next one is... I don't even know if I would call it a hot take. It definitely gets some debate, but the conclusion for Trunks vs. Silver actually makes sense. In Dragon Ball, everything scales to strength. So you couldn't have infinite or incalculable speed unless you had infinite or incalculable strength. It might be possible, but not for a Saiyan, in my opinion.
I'm not fucking touching that. Let's just move on.
Yeah, I don't have anything to say. It's kind of a...
yeah, I guess I don't really have much to say either. I think you're... I don't know if that's the reason I think you're right, but... Yeah. That's not a hot take. I don't care who wins a fight as long as the fight is well animated and both combatants have their time to shine. Of course, if the results are hilariously rigged, I'll call it out, but most times I watch Death Battle because of the show rather than see who wins. I love the addition there. You were good in the first half.
I think most people would probably share a sentiment, even though, episodes being wrong in some people's eyes ruins the episode for them. I never really got that sentiment.
I will never look at Bomberman versus Dick Tug the same way again.
Yes, exactly. If there's anything you should do, it's not to rewatch that episode because Bomberman lost.
Okay, let's see.
Chat dug emoji.
Oh, funny you should say that, Volting, because that is directly related to the next take. Luz versus Akko is greater than Luz versus Anne. I'm becoming wearier of them bringing... Oh, wait, hold on, never mind. These are multiple takes, so let's start with that first one. Agreed. Gumball heavily disagrees. Speedy, I have no idea.
I prefer Luz versus
Anne, like Akko. I find Akko to be annoying, and I also think her power set is far too limiting, and considering how versatile Luz is, and unlike Anne, who narratively can still hold up, narratively, Akko is pretty incompetent and doesn't have many real magical skills to bounce off of.
Yeah, I do genuinely think Akko could keep up. The clumsiness isn't paramount to her in a fight, you know?
I mostly enjoy On vs. Luz because of my cartoon bias. That's literally the main reason.
Oh, you enjoy it so much you pronounced Anne's name wrong.
On?
Yeah, it's Anne.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Oh. On is Persona 5.
Oh, On. Yeah,
it's spelled the exact... Actually, no. No, it's not spelled the same way. It's almost spelled the same way, though. Anyway, I'm becoming wearier of them bringing Pac-Man on every day. I don't necessarily
no,
have anything to
what-
say on that. That's
Wait,
Okay.
hold on. Was that the only thing? They didn't elaborate anything further?
Nope,
I'm
that
kinda
was
curious-
the entire take. Yeah.
No. I got this one. The main thing Pac-Man has going for him viably is the show with the worst theme song ever. And
I thought the
it's just
theme song was
generally a
actually kind
shit
of
show. And like, oh, look at all these cool power sets. Look at the Planet Pac-Man stuff. That's not even Pac-Man. That's his son. And then
you guys do know I'm sorry, but like Gumball, you do know there's like Pac World. That's like one of his main like. That was like one of the main reasons why people thought he won against Luigi for a while.
Yeah. Pac-Man does have a decent amount of stuff.
Yeah,
He honestly has more story than Luigi.
it's kind of funny. Yeah, you could argue that. Yeah.
Anyway, Mario vs. Kirby is amazing, and I'm tired of pretending they don't need to return.
Huh.
I definitely don't think they shouldn't return, but against each other, I'm not quite as sold on it. I would need a lot more convincing for that.
I never really been a fan of Mario vs. Kirby. I always think Mario
I
vs.
like the
Link makes a
Mario
lot
and
more
Kirby
sense.
series pairing, but Mario versus Kirby I find really boring.
Also, I can't say this for a fact, but I have a feeling to everyone in chat that if Death Battle were to include Pac-Man, they would probably do a light composite, because Pac-Man isn't necessarily someone with that concrete of a storyline or anything. And especially if he was going up against Luigi, imagine saying, oh yeah, we're not including this stuff because we don't consider it canon. Against Luigi?
Oh yeah, anyway, I was cut off before I could really finish.
Sorry.
You were talking about Pac-Man World. Ghostly Adventures is the thing that had the big thing, the Planet
No.
Pac-Man.
No.
the whole world.
No.
Actually, you're
There was,
wrong.
like-
Pac-Man World is the one who has a universal feat.
What's a
Well,
yeah,
a universal feat no one buys, but still.
No, people bought it for a while, but then no, it was bunked. But like that was the main reason why he won for a while. Actually, I think he even got to multi even.
Yeah, because people like smoking crack.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying, like, that proves my point. Like, that was the main reason why, that's where probably his most impressive feats come from.
It's always weird. People claim all this cosmic stuff, and then you experience it for yourself. Like, all these people are like, oh, look at Shulk being multi-plus because of the end of Xenoblade Chronicles. I get to it. That's just a big bang, bro. You're reaching.
It would seem as though some people still believe uni/multiversal Pac-Man, so... Point disproven, I guess.
Do
Anyway.
people still... okay, I'm not going to elaborate on that, but, yeah. Or dwell on it.
But
what's the next
anyway...
topic?
Oh, I just noticed that the person we're discussing right now is in the chat. Hi, Packy. Kassen versus Fleetway is a good matchup, but they should probably use Reimu or Marissa first. I think this is just a fact. Like, okay, I don't actually know Kassen that well.
What the hell is
I
Cassie?
said this in the last stream. I just don't like Fleetway Sonic. So...
But I'll say on the second half of this, I feel like that's just a fact. Okay, Marisa, not quite as much. Reimu, or I would say... Ramilia are the two Toho characters I think they should do first, if anyone. I think either the main hero or the main villain. Or, yeah, more or less. I know there's a little bit more complication in there, but...
I've heard that...
What about Sakuya?
I heard
Sakuya
that
is a
Toho
very
doesn't
popular character. I could see
I
it.
heard that Toho doesn't really have villains. They're just more so people who are kind of a dick sometimes, but also, It's the same with Puyo Puyo, which is, I guess, why Arl versus Reimu is a matchup, because it's more so the general aesthetic of both series rather than the characters themselves. And in that one, yeah, Puyo Puyo doesn't have real villains either. Yes, Satan is an actual character. Yes, he's into minors, but he's also kind of chill, and I don't know how.
Oh, Cerno is one of the first reps. Honestly, I disagree on Cerno. Cerno is just a meme queen. That's basically all it is with her.
I mean, like, isn't that the same for Jack Frost?
No, Jack Frost is recognizable. Like, really recognizable. I wouldn't say that for Cerno.
Alright, next one.
I'm not that big on Jojo, but there's no way Jotaro would lose to Kenshiro. I feel like
Wait, hold
under
on.
modern research standards, Death Battle would agree with you.
Wait, what? What was that?
He's basically saying he does not see how Jotaro could ever lose to Kenshiro.
Yeah,
Oh.
no, I disagree there.
Yeah, no, actually,
I
has a-
like.
even if you use modern research, the power gap would just be too wide.
What's,
Like,
the,
honestly.
what's the power gap at this point?
I
What?
think he's just a country.
Yeah,
Really?
country to multi-continent versus just there's even potential like small planet feats even.
And yes, Pyro, we did hear about that. I would recommend you guys send as much support as you can to Yates specifically.
Yeah.
He posted his
Yeah.
PayPal on his Twitter. If you need to find that.
Yeah. But me, Red, and Nemesis all gave it a QRT, so if you follow any of our Twitters, you should be able to find it through there.
Yeah.
I should probably do that too, even though I don't have
Okay.
any followers.
So,
But anyway,
yeah,
if Kenshiro got buffed too, then that's fair. Never mind.
if you don't like listen into the stats or stuff, you can still do the monkey brain and be like, what if Kenshiro just touched him once?
Well,
What
stats are gonna play.
Only question would be, is he fast enough to do so? But I obviously don't know. Okay.
There are light speed statements, but whatever.
Ben 10 versus Green Lantern was not creative. That's
Creative?
I think he means the matchup as in and of itself. Okay. Death Battle rules don't matter.
What?
They do minimum
this-
research. They underplay the loser.
Okay.
And the fight is better if you skip the analysis. That last one is actually a take. That last one is a take that I can actually see. That last one I can actually see, kind of.
No,
some people.
The problem is that it's everything else mixed with it. This man has been scorned by Death Battle.
Yeah,
This
there's
man
a lot
has
to
his
unpack
life
here.
absolutely ruined. His parents were taken from him by Wiz of Boomstick or some kind of shit like that.
Ben versus Green Lantern. I mean, I would call it. I would call it creative. I would, but it's more just unexpected. You know.
Everyone was clamoring for Beast Boy, and honestly, Ben 10 versus Beast Boy still sounds fun to me.
God,
If
you
you
don't know
look-
how devastating it would be when Death Battle determines that Beast Boy would win too.
What do you think would be the harder fallout?
That
Ben
wouldn't-
losing against
Sorry.
Ben losing against Blue Beetle or Beast Boy?
Beast Boy easily, because no one considers Beast Boy powerful.
Yeah, like the thing is, lore-wise, with Blue Beetle's entire purpose, from what I heard, is that he kills Green Lantern. So yeah, I think the research would present itself pretty straightforward there.
But
but
as
people
far
buy it.
as Beast Boy, yes, people generally believe Blue Beetle to be, like, pretty powerful in the general scheme of DC. Beast Boy, you don't see that nearly as much.
People will remember him for Teen Titans and then Teen Titans Go, and in both shows, he's just kind of seen as kind of weak, but in the comics, he can turn into mythological creatures and is on par with Superboy.
And yeah, the last point, you're right. It depends on how much of the fight resolves the analysis that preceded it. But some people don't like looking at the analyses first because it's kind of easy to predict some matchups based on the analyses.
And then they get mad when
I'm looking at this.
skip results.
David V says Red Runner versus Gumball Viking is peak. I think that's the same series matchup.
Technically, depending on if you use me or the character, it's not.
Maryland versus Massachusetts, who would really win?
Not. Sorry, I think I skipped a couple somehow. I don't
Alright.
think Frank West should come back and waste Ash on him. He hasn't had anything new for 6 years, and his episode with Leon still holds up.
I can kind of see.
I don't know Dead Rising at all, so I got nothing to say.
Ash definitely should get on. I'm not sure who against, but I don't have a problem with this take exactly. I
think
don't even know what this one is referring to. Boba Fett
what
should
the-
have won.
I'm
Probably
Probably both
against
episodes.
Samus.
probably.
No,
both
I'm
episodes.
sorry. I love the mental image that you have a bone to pick with the very first episode of Death Battle and still have one to this day. Bro was born a hater.
Oh, I haven't heard this one before. This DB track. What is this one? Hotline Pedro. That sounds nice.
Is that the new? Is that the?
It's not that
Is that-
new. I don't think. Anyway.
Hotline Miami versus my friend Pedro, basically.
Yeah.
Never heard of that one before.
All right, next one.
Akuma vs. Shao Kahn is way better than Blake vs. Mikasa, and I'm Mikasa. They were the one who spelled it wrong, and I'm tired of pretending it isn't. I disagree heavily, but I don't.
Even as
there's not
someone who
much
likes-
to say.
Even as someone who
Yes.
likes Akuma versus Shao Kahn, I disagree there too.
I think I hear your only mate boss music right now.
Season 7 is better than 1, 3, 4, 5, and on par with 6. I can't even parse
That is
all of
season-
those in
that
a
is-
row.
That is a very hot
That
take.
is season 7's strongest soldier.
Knuckles should have won against DK. I'm not even gonna bother touching that one. That gets into just Mario vs. Sonic in general.
We'll get there.
SpongeBob's have been pitted against Pinkie Pie. Not that Super Friends versus SpongeBob was bad, but far from it, but still.
Why?
What?
See, I don't see, especially after seeing Discord's episode, I don't necessarily think they consider MLP's Toon Force on the same level as SpongeBob's.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I've heard that Pinkie Pie was incredibly misrepresented in her episode. They try to treat her as this fourth wall breaking goddess. She's just kind of silly.
I mean, okay, no, she does fourth wall break a good portion of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't necessarily say I can see her against SpongeBob.
That's kind of scary,
but
yeah.
she is, for the record, she did not get that reputation for no reason. She is the only other character who was capable of controlling Discord's magic when injected into her. She was the only one who could control it, so I think she just proved you wrong there. Haha.
I mean, there's that, and then I guess she also did bag Weird Al, so...
You can't give that up. She did, in fact, shack up with Weird Al, yes. Anyway. Another Bieber vs. Black one. We kind of already touched on that, but... Yeah. Product of its time.
I'm looking at that one image. Why
Oh,
Gumball?
Gumball! Why?
Oh, what happened?
Look at that one image. On the stream?
It's just Miss Puff.
Oh, okay.
Vader vs. Obito... Oh, wait, hold on. Why did I skip that one? Matchup discourse beyond I like this matchup. Here's why. Usually gets so toxic that it's one of the reasons I mostly backed out of the community I was in. It is okay to not care about the rundowns and really only watch for the fight. DB purists low-key baffle me. That's, I think, 3 different takes, but kind of related to each other.
The first one makes me ask, were you in r/death battle matchups? That might have been your problem.
Yeah,
Because
see, no, it can get toxic even on our own server and places like that.
I'm
People
not denying
people
that,
have
but,
people have a
it was,
really hard time about disagreeing with each other. They just don't like doing that.
yeah, but I've heard that basically it's at its all-time worst in death battle matchups, be it the Reddit or the Discord server surrounding it.
Also, I'm pretty sure Edderdong. I'm pretty sure they just made the DK sprite like that because they found it funny how massive he was compared to Knuckles.
Oh,
an
they didn't
extent.
make it, but they didn't make it. But
Or, well,
yeah.
you know what I mean. They chose that sprite because they found that funny.
Yeah, it was also a lot more expressive than any of his other sports.
All right, next one. Because DVD purist looking out for me, that's pretty vague. I consider myself a purist, but I can still disagree with them.
Why would
I
you call yourself a
disagree.
purist?
What does that even mean in this case?
Yeah, what does it mean? I'm.
you
Why did I
just called yourself a purist.
You literally just did.
Yeah, I'm a purist. What does that mean?
Vader vs. Obito and Manhunter vs. Silver Surfer's endings didn't hit as they intended. Obito smacking Vader with his sword after the IT.
Infinite Tsukiyomi.
Oh, thank you. Just felt like a pointless dick move, and Martian Manhunter vs. Silver Surfer is like, oh, why are we fighting? It's terrible, as they never stopped fighting beforehand.
All right, so the first one, and that's just Obito.
Fighting is le bad.
See, I wouldn't even necessarily say that. I just find the animation of him lifting the sword and then just like stiff arming it is really funny. You can't see me doing it, but you know that.
And then the other one, this is pure headcanon. I like to think that their bodies literally could not control themselves at the end there.
I'm pretty sure it would be something equivalent in DC if literally the plot was being manipulated to make them fight. I don't know why I said DC in particular, but you know what I mean.
Manhunter, I think, opens the door as to what Death Battle really is. And that conversation alone makes me like the episode a lot more.
But that's not related to the hot take. Point is, I do think the tone was fine. It took some people out of the episode, though. I definitely noticed that.
Yeah, I noticed that this is probably one of the most split episodes. I've seen some people call this their favorite Marvel versus DC episode. Hello, by the way. Other people just think it's really boring. Hello to you other three, by the way. And it's just so all over the place. And I find it more fascinating than interesting than anything else.
But yeah, I don't necessarily think in Manhunter vs. Surfer it was like they literally can't do anything else with their bodies, like their bodies are being manipulated or anything. I'm pretty sure it's, again, as if the plot itself was being manipulated. That sort of deal. Anyway. Okay, next. Worthy. I'm almost entirely fine if BlazBlue never returns to Death Battle. Almost nobody brings up anything without relating to how it's not as strong as people thought, basically. I'm convinced no matter the matchup, people are going to make the waiting time insufferable. See, I think people underestimate BlazBlue at this point. I'm going to be honest. I don't necessarily research it personally, but it feels like people are underselling it at this point.
It's so funny to me. I played Cross Tag, right? If they ever decide to say, yeah, that's canon, all the buffs come back.
Yeah. And it goes to everyone, doesn't it? If it does come from Cross Tag?
So what happened is S decides to place Hakumen and Ragna, and
it was a yes or no question, Gumball.
I want to explain it because I don't know how the tiering system works.
I don't. You don't really need to.
No, I still want to do it. It's funny.
No, it takes too long. It takes too long.
No, it takes all of 10 seconds.
Literally, can we just continue from where we left off?
Fine,
more Bieber versus Black. We already went over it. Belos versus Father is kind of mid, and Belos has a ton of better options. Father squared for the win.
Oh, great shot! 151.
Whoa, that's it. I like that take. Yeah, Father squared for the win.
Enjoyed your reactions for over 2 years. Keep it up. As for hot take, season 6 after 113. I don't. Oh, is that an emote? I can't read it. If it is, might be the best set next to mid season 5.
Oh, come on.
Oh, no. You're just numbering the episodes, I think.
Okay. So it didn't call the season, man.
Numbering the episodes like that. That's
no. I think he means the middle of season 5.
Oh, okay.
All right.
But either way, thank you for the super chat.
Yeah, that was cool.
And I'm trying to think. I can't say if I agree or disagree off the top of my head.
Oh, this is just gonna be Speedy catching strays about season 5 to stream, isn't it?
Season 5 is gonna be so fun. Anyway, Fire Emblem. Wait, no, I skipped another one. Why do I keep doing that?
Father versus Bellows. We were starting that one, and then we got the donation.
Oh no, I was done. Were you?
I didn't hear the take in full because of the donation.
Oh no, I did finish it. Bellows versus Father kind of mid, and Bellows has a ton of better options. And then I said Father squared for the win.
All right,
and then Speedy agreed with me. Oh, that was a voice crack.
I don't have much input.
Fire Emblem was one of the most overhyped franchises for DB. Granted, it needed to be on at some point, but saying it was the most overdue franchise in Death Battle's history made my blood boil. There are franchises that still haven't appeared yet that deserve that title more.
How dare they bring in Fire Emblem?
I'm kind of like...
Oh, he doesn't mind them bringing in Fire Emblem. It's just the fact that people were acting like it was the biggest franchise, you know?
But the phrasing, it messes with me a little. It's just like, hey, people wanted it that badly. How dare they?
No, I agree with him, because, again, the point isn't necessarily people wanting it on. It's people saying that it's more overdue than, I don't know, give me a good example.
Toho?
Sure, that's an example you can give. Toho is a much more popular franchise.
Yeah, I hear this. I understand, like, the reasoning. It's just the phrasing of makes my blood boil. Dude, that's a bit much, don't you think?
No, I think it's fine, because again, he wasn't saying he dislikes people wanting it. All right. Granbull, Manhunter vs. Surfer is one of the most well-written modern-day Death Battle episodes, and he's on his way out. All right. Have a good day, Granbull. Thank you for the $5.
It just be like
in a chariot of fire.
Anyway, yeah.
It's definitely one of the better written episodes of season 10, but yeah, I guess I don't really have much to say.
Season 10 ranking will we'll elaborate on.
And I entirely agree, Rodrigo. There is no most overdue franchise. That's just not something that exists. You can't single out a franchise and say, oh yeah, it's the most overdue franchise in Death Battle's history. That's just...
I'm still gonna listen, probably input on occasion, but I'm going to mute for a little bit so you guys can go down through the comments, and I will be back.
Woohoo! Me and Speedy, let's go.
Yeah, imagine if they hadn't done Marvel at that point. Like,
imagine if Imagine if it took 10 seasons to do a Marvel matchup.
Then I would probably say, yeah, no, that's like objectively the most overdue franchise, if that was the case.
Again, I'm not sure if it's possible to have, like, that objectivity behind it.
No, not right now, because there's so many franchises that have been introduced that... I agree with that.
Master Shaman with $2. Asta was treated horribly in Death Battle. That's not a hot take, that's just true. Okay.
Yeah, no, people... Okay, people know, oh man, if Gumball was here right now, he probably would have went on a whole rant about it. But yeah, people definitely agree with you. So that's not really a hot take.
There are many matchups. Hold on. Franchises.
Oh my god. What about a rant?
You don't have to. Someone just said Asta was treated horribly in Death Battle. That's the end of the conversation. Don't continue.
Alright, yep. Going back.
Alright. There are as many franchises as there are stars in the sky. What makes one special? Obviously, Speedy's example is fair. But let me bring up another really big franchise, insanely massive, Sword Art Online. Could you call that overdue? Some people would.
I mean, I also guess it could also depend on what franchise is overdue. Maybe for example, you have Gurren Lagann, for example. That's a franchise people would consider overdue. But how many characters are probably gonna get on Death Battle from that franchise? Maybe Simon. And then you have other franchises like Toho, which probably has multiple characters. And so I think that's also another way to like differentiate like what franchise is more overdue than the other. I don't know. I'm trying to
That you're doing too much.
Yeah.
But anyway, Gojo vs. Makima is the better Jujutsu Kaisen vs. Chainsaw Man matchup, and better than Yuji vs. Denji. I think most people agree with that. Luce vs. Anne is overhyped.
Yeah, again, hot take. Yeah, fair.
Akira Kurusu vs. Velvet Crow is better than most of their other ideas. That's not his name.
Velvet Crow.
Oh, no, that was fine. Akira Kurusu. That's not his name.
Who is Akira
That's Joker.
Kurusu? Oh.
That's Joker.
Oh. Okay.
Light Yagami versus Lelouch is the only match for Yagami that's good.
Lelouch.
That's Code Geass, right?
Yeah, Code Geass. My question is, what the hell is Light gonna do when Lelouch summons a giant mech on him?
I don't know.
That's like the main problem with that.
I don't know Code Geass that well. I just know they're schemers.
Yeah, schemers. Both of them have instant.
What is he gonna do when he brings out a giant mech? Yo, what's your name again?
Yeah, what's your name? Can you please tell me before you smash me to bits for that giant ass?
Grumpo with $5. Galactus vs. Unicron is overhyped. I'm tired of people predicting it to be the season finale every single season.
Don't talk bad about that matchup. Okay, that matchup is the best one. Okay, yeah, okay, fair. People
predict it way too much.
Yeah, no, that is fair.
I'm thinking about that Light versus whatever thing. She's like, "What's your name?"
No,
you can't hear it. Just scream back out, "I'm at soup." What do you mean you're at soup? I mean I'm at soup. All right, the Def Def did nothing. What do you mean at soup? Is that like a foreign name? What are you even talking about?
They're both from Japan, though. I mean, I guess whatever.
But the meme is in English. Anyway, Fire Emblem. Wait, hold on. Why'd that show up again? Wait, did I just skip past it somehow? I did?
What?
Alright, never mind. I already read that. Death Battle should not appeal to the Death Battle community. They should appeal to the actual fandoms they're being featured on. That's... I think you can do both, to an extent.
Yeah, they have tried to do both, and it usually works. Usually.
People need to look. This is in the chat. People need to learn the difference between what would make a cool crossover and a cool death battle. That's fair. That's absolutely fair. Because I think the two get conflated a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway, next. Actually, no. I want to go into Epic Link Sam's thing because I agree. To an extent. See, let's go back to, like, Jinx versus Harley. Jinx's analysis was formatted in a way that really reflected the community of League of Legends. Like, again, that's how her story was told, even if it's not in chronological order. And that was interesting to reflect that. I like that idea. Anyway. Blitz. I think people generally bring up veterans too much, when in some cases they shouldn't really return, and personally I just want a new character, since that's always more interesting for the show.
I actually I was going to write that as another hot take of mine. Because
let me get the last line. Do we really need an Ichigo run back to fight Yusuke instead of someone else?
I kind of agree with that. I think Death Battle should hone down on the returners. Like a lot, and because episodes like, I don't know, Raven versus Phoenix or Darth Vader versus Obito just hinders so many other potential new franchises and matchups to just from happening.
Oh wow, White Oak with $20. Thank you.
Why is everyone donating so much money now?
I guess because it gets me to notice them immediately. I hate it when people say that a fight can't happen because a franchise was already used in that season, with the exception of DC and Marvel. They don't have to show up as much as Marvel and DC, but twice can be enough.
I mean, I also forgot Dragon Ball, but you know.
Yeah. But, like, that's fair. Franchises have been used twice in the same season before, but generally speaking, they do feel a little bit limited. Probably just because they want a big variety of characters. That's ultimately the goal.
Hold on. Did Death Bell just announce that they're doing Simon and Kyle? Yeah, Simon and Kyle is the next Death Bell cast.
I saw that in the chat earlier, but I didn't comment on it because I wasn't sure if it was true.
Yeah, it's true.
Nice. Nice. But yeah. New characters are always good. There are some old characters that I wish got different matchups. Shadow. But...
I love how fast you were with that delivery.
But ultimately, I can absolutely see why people just don't want to see him again, because he's already been on so much. Do you really want him to tie with Batman for how many matchups he has? Anyway.
I gotta address this. Yes, I know. As someone who really wants Aang versus Captain Planet, I'm well aware that Aang is a returning combatant. So yes, but if it were to me, if it was up to me, have one returning combatant for each season, just one. That's all.
And again, I'm pretty sure the idea is as much variety of characters as possible. I don't necessarily think Death Battle treats it as, oh, we already did a character from this franchise, we can't do any more. It's more just like, how many types of characters can we bring in? You know? Anyway.
Yeah.
Ben 10 vs. Green Lantern deserves to be revised with Ben as a teenager. I mean, I don't think it's really worth it, but I wish it was the teenage version of Ben in the episode. Let's just say that.
I agree there. I think it is one... Yeah, that was another hot take I didn't put in my list, but I think it's probably one of the more deserving remakes. Probably more the Master Chief vs. Doom guy, but that's just me.
I don't necessarily think it deserves a full remake, because their logic would be about the same as for that one. Doom guy versus Master Chief, at the very least, has changed a lot. You know?
Which is fair, but like one episode, I feel like it's just so infamous to the point where like it would be, I think, easy for them to like maybe clear up some information and maybe like, you know, make the episode like have a lot more variety, because despite like Ben 10 being featured on the show and his whole deal being turning into so many aliens, he doesn't really do that much when it comes to the aliens, because he has like less than 5 aliens not the entire fight, and that's so funny.
I feel like Ben versus Hal would be better tenfold if the entire animation he was just mustache.
And I see Grumpo again. Sad endings for fights are welcome, but the crew should do them sparingly so we don't get desensitized to them.
Yeah, I feel like they have been doing that.
They've been doing a good number of sad endings, but...
Yeah, but like, they don't feel like close to each other at all. Like,
no. Even tonally speaking, they're not too close to each other.
Versus Discord, I guess, could be interpreted that way, but it wasn't really presented that way. It felt more triumphant, if anything.
It was like a Pyrrhic victory. That's the perfect description.
Yeah.
So you had Mansurfer, you have SpongeBob versus Aquaman, you have Tanjiro versus Jonathan. Those are the big 3 modern examples, I want to say.
Yeah. Anyway.
And they're all placed out fairly decently.
Yeah, no, they're spaced out quite a bit. Hyper, what are those reactions for? I don't know what I'm supposed to read into that.
Is it because of the Bennett versus Hal thing?
Maybe. Chucky vs. Slappy is a... I'll read the other one next. Chucky vs. Slappy is a bad horror matchup idea. One is a mostly melee user with only a few guns and some magic that's not even useful in battle, versus the other, who has magical powers as his main arsenal.
Yeah?
I want to point out
They're both
Slappy can't really die. I want to point out that Slappy can't really die. Sure, I'm pretty sure Chucky can, like, come back, quote unquote, but Slappy can't die.
Oh wow, two donations in a row. Redcast, $5. Hot take, most Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter episodes shouldn't have happened, even if they were good. Also, Ride into Hell is the best track. Ride into Hell is a really good track.
Good track.
I can't really comment on the Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter thing. And Dino Dan with another $5. Master Chief versus Doom Guy doesn't deserve a remake because it would become a one-sided stomp. I feel like both have better matchups.
Well, you would say that, but Link versus Cloud.
And
I don't know.
Michael comes in. I think people believe there are way more Marvel vs. DC episodes than there actually are. I don't get why people complain about too many Cosmic Heralds and then want Cal vs. Simone so bad.
No, like, people want it, but people want them to, have some more variety at least.
Yeah, people want them spaced out. I can't speak on the Marvel vs. DC side because I don't mind them as much as a lot of other people do, but I will say, as far as the cosmic side of things, when you think about it, it's really bizarre that pretty much all the Marvel and DC rep we've gotten this season is cosmic in one way, shape, or form.
And what was the last non-cosmic character? Again, it was it Nightwing? Was it Red Hood and Winter Soldier? Honest to God.
Red Hood vs. Winter Soldier obviously wasn't as
now
cosmic.
he's in the stream. Hey guys,
Hyper, hello. You're not in the thumbnail. This is false advertising.
Get out.
I'm here. I know. I'm only here for a moment because I'm at a motel.
Yeah, sure. What's up?
Hot take. Broly versus Hulk is the best verdict in the entire series, objectively, and you cannot convince me otherwise. Anyways, bye.
We'll leave that to you comments to talk about, I suppose. Anyway, comment on Reddit. Copy of comment on Reddit. If Squidward didn't stomp Bakugo via Toon Force, that matchup wouldn't be remotely popular, even as a meme.
What was that? Bakugo versus Squidward?
Yeah, I don't even like it in general, but like, I've never even heard people talk about the debate before being real.
There's no debate. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Anything else, sir?
This is another post. I'm trying to figure out if this is even a hot take. Yeah, I'm just gonna skip it because I can't see what the take in it is. There should be way more live-action fights. It's crazy that there aren't more at this point. Budget and time, because live-action fights take way longer to plan, even if they don't necessarily cost a ton more. I don't know the metrics, obviously. None of us do.
Even ignoring that, but like, how is that hot take? I think most people would want like another live-action fight.
Okay,
but they probably.
Sorry,
but they should. They should have done it for Jason vs. Michael. It had, like, I don't get why they still didn't do it.
It probably was a timing thing, if I had to guess. Anyway, the Clouded Artist with $5. Thank you again. This is more of a question, but what did you guys think of the analysis/fight previews for Colex? I thought they were fine. Won't comment specifically because it's
click off the stream if you're watching.
It's exclusive content. I'm going to say stuff he already knows anyway. Don't talk about it in the chat for the record. But generally speaking, it was fine. Yeah. I know that there's going to be extra context to why they were formatted the way they are.
I have not seen the previews yet, per Hyper's wishes.
How have you not seen the previews?
He's actively not. They've actively chosen not to watch them.
No, I know that. Wait, Gumball, you too?
This isn't even a hot take, but I just want to comment on it. Someone literally just posted Baryon Mode Naruto versus Gear 5 Luffy, with no context.
Yeah, no, my hottest take, Naruto versus Luffy.
Anyway, Horny Boomstick from the early seasons was actually funny. The Death Battle community is just full of prudes.
That's a good fucking. Yeah, how is that the case for you guys?
I know you said not to. I know you said not to click on the replies. Click on the reply on that one.
On this one, let's see. Right, like, can Death Battle really be Death Battle without talking about sexually assaulting women in their sleep? Okay, the
Okay, so
person's
it's-
like, I forgot Rogue vs. Wonder Woman was a thing, so let me rephrase that. Horny Boomstick is funny outside of that one episode.
Yes. Even then, I would argue that the Death Battle community has made worse jokes, but okay.
True. I don't mind those types of jokes outside of Rogue vs. Wonder Woman. Obviously, that was probably a bit far, and I feel like they immediately realized that after that.
Yeah.
Just- I think this is a fun point of his character. Y'all just need to grow up, and then the worst possible thing to forget gets brought up in your face. That was not a good moment. All right, next one.
And Packy, one more take. I want to see Sora return, but with Donald and Goofy by his side, I assume.
There's a matchup for that. It just needs time because it's Chris, Susie, and Ralsei from Deltarune.
Oh, and
That's
Shane.
the big one for.
I see another question, sorry. From Shane. Is Luffy vs. Naruto a stomp, or is it close? At the moment, Naruto wins. Like, pretty safely. Some people think Luffy will get strong enough to compete by the end. That's basically the gist.
But do you think it's a stomp? Or is it just like kind of like
Naruto AP stomps, Luffy might be faster and has the precog. It's just that Naruto can nuke the entire battlefield anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think the AP gap is really wide at the moment. A 3v3 fight is impossible. I don't know about that.
Yeah, no.
It depends on the context of it. I mean, don't forget, on the last ballot they had a 2v2 matchup. 3v3 isn't that far off.
We just gotta wait for
3v3.
Deltarune. We gotta wait for Deltarune to keep going because, as is right now, it's kind of lacking. Like Sora can, create mini galaxies with his Keyblade, nuke the entire thing with light and shit, and then you got Chris Ralsei and Susie just dressing up as nurses.
Also, Sanguine, I'm pretty sure them talking about Noin and Zex's rundown was more so just a fault of Zex's analysis in general.
do you think we should go to Twitter Q&A?
Oh, yeah. We'll continue. Next one. Minecraft Steve doesn't have a good matchup. Yes, the big three I see him have are thematic, but they all feel like way too big of stomps to be fun. Terrarian especially. Oh god, you don't know what you've done. You commented this so innocently. You don't understand how toxic that debate can get. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. So first, I'm just gonna leave a little bit of a question for the audience here in the text chat. Do you want Steve to use creative mode in his episode?
No, that's
Probably
That's
not.
fun. No. This is the audience's question. Shut up.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so
All right.
in the meantime,
Well,
Unicron vs. Galactus is overrated AF. We kind of already saw that earlier, surprisingly.
I wish that people would elaborate a bit more on that.
See, I think what it is, Speedy, is people hear a lot about it, but don't know anything about the two.
That makes it overrated.
Yeah. To some
Wait,
people.
what do you mean?
I'm looking at the live chat. So many people are just saying no.
God, no. I want Steve to fight Emmett. I would prefer Jesse to fight Emmett. Jesse from Minecraft Story Mode, because then you can actually have the stories bounce off each other, rather than just Steve. Anyway.
Anyway, next one.
Rematches should have never been on a table in the first place. Even if they can have fun animations, they'd be wasting characters on dull matchups with predictable outcomes. Even the very existence of rematches has damaged the community in ways that can never be fixed. I feel like that's an extreme perspective on the whole thing.
That is like 18-year-old me after seeing Mario vs. Sonic 2 for the first time.
The fact that you said 18-year-old you, that's
No, I think I've made this very public, but I don't know if this is a result of autism or just me in general. I used to be incredibly toxic when I was like 17, 18 in this kind of community. And it wasn't until very shortly after I realized, wow, this sucks. And I decided to be not that. And now here we are. So there's your Gumball Viking lore exposition. You might find some toxic comics if you want to look for that. I advise not doing that. I would recoil up in a ball of cringe and implode. So
Anyway.
there.
Deathbile created a whole generation of versus debaters that think power scaling can only be calculated with math and science. Versus debating is a form of media literacy, not a hard science. Deathbile caused people to forget power scaling is a tool to interpret media. It's all subjective. You know what's funny? That's just true. I definitely can see it being a hot take, but that's just kind of true. People take this stuff way too seriously. Like, it's not something that needs to be agreed on 100% of the time. There are definitely things that are going to be contentious between different groups of people, depending on what you believe and all that.
But, I do think the hard science thing is being too harsh. Because with science, we do know, at least objectively, that Dig Dug beats Bomberman.
Okay. I don't know if this is a Deathbile thing or just certain fandoms, but I don't think Kratos is universal, multiversal, or anything higher. Ragnarok was a clear indication to me that Kratos isn't that level of power, and if he is, the entire plot of the game is pointless.
Ooh.
Funny thing, I haven't actually played Ragnarok yet, so I can't comment very much, but
Don't you have it?
I do. I haven't played it. Imagine how busy I've been recently. Ooh. That's not a pity party. That's just me saying I haven't had time to play games in a bit. I can't comment, but I understand narratively speaking it can be weird for people to envision Kratos as being that powerful.
Especially when he can't break down a wall. Like, I know that's an argument people use against multi-Kratos.
Yeah. Oh, that's you! Look at that! Hi, Aaron. Anyway.
Aaron?
Yeah, in the chat. The person we're looking at right now.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. I'm looking at the chat right now. The thing about rematches is that they should be used to improve wasted matchups rather than to change a result. Absolutely. Like, people saying that Yang vs. Tifa needs a remake are silly. Like, I'm not going to say stupid, but why should it get a remake when the animation was already done pretty well, and it's not even a matchup that needs to be revisited. It's not that good of a matchup. So, you literally just want a rematch to prove to yourself that it was wrong the first time. That's basically what that is, at least from my perspective. Anyway.
It's spite.
My personal hot take is that Aang vs. Edward Elric is worse than even Shadow vs. Mewtwo and Grey vs. Esdeath. It's not the worst episode objectively, but it belongs to Bieber vs. Black, but subjectively, I despise it.
Willow, is that you?
No, that's actually that clouded artist who might still be in the chat. I don't know. But either way, I don't think it's that bad. I know Gumball. I think you have the most negative opinion on it.
It's either Gumball or Hyper.
I dislike it, but I don't know if it's to that degree.
I think it
Maybe
might
worse
be
than Grey
Hyper.
versus SF, because at least Grey versus SF has a lot of ironic value behind it.
I think it might be Hyper.
Okay, anyway. Gold the EV, Goku vs. Kirby. Wait, you're saying you want Goku versus Kirby?
I guess that's kind of an...
Okay, never mind. Okay, no, he's just memeing. I'll read it out for the sake of the meme. Goku vs. Kirby and why Kirby would win. Actually, the entire Dragon Ball universe and why Kirby would win. Actually, 1 billion lines and all of Pokemon versus Kirby and why Kirby would still win. Scratch that. all of the above versus Kirby, and why Kirby would win. Kirby versus everything, to be honest.
Yeah. Why even do what, like, all... yeah, never mind.
Okay, more Galactus vs. Unicron slander.
Oh my god.
Shouldn't happen until we get an actually good Transformers episode with actual characters, rather than just forces of nature with no actual personality.
Unicron has a personality.
Again, Speedy, I don't think people know them that well.
Then stop saying it's overrated. Just say you don't like the matchup.
Hyper's back again.
Hi, Hyper.
See, okay, but Kirby loses to Alex Mercer throwing a cigarette at him. What are you gonna do?
Do you dislike Ed
Listen,
versus,
just grab Senator Armstrong, Kirby, from Doug Doug.
What the hell?
That sounds funny.
Do you dislike Edward versus Aang, Hyper?
No, I dislike it because they make fun of short people, and I'm short.
No, I mean, like, I was just genuinely curious because we were kind of on the
there was a hot take earlier saying that it's as bad as Mewtwo vs. Shadow and Gray vs. Esdeath. Personally, I don't think Gray vs. Esdeath is that bad.
It's funny.
Anyway, next one. I don't know if you're sticking around, Hyper, but honestly, my takes are super generic and basically too similar to everybody. The only one I have, at least off the top of my head, is that Lost Ice Storms is super mid. Like, I really disagree. I don't think it's the best part of the episode.
I think they're super wrong.
I think the male vocals on it don't blend well with the rest of it. That's my take on Lost Ice Storms as a track.
My take is that it's my favorite thing in the episode, and it's pretty awesome.
Kyle vs. Simone should never be included in Champions Ballot. It would ruin the hype and reveal it as a season finale. I don't think they would just make a ballot matchup the season finale. I'm just gonna be frank.
Okay. I'm just gonna get this out of the way. Just don't talk like this. It's matchups.
That's not actually the take they're making, Hyper. They're just saying that they feel like it would be a season finale, and to have it in the ballot would basically just ruin all the hype around it.
Okay, be a season finale. Let me just say this. Yeah, Kyle Rayner in a season finale. You think that's gonna ever happen? No, and also no matchup is like season like. Okay, I should rephrase that. I'm just gonna say just because a matchup is on the ballot and then he's like, no, I shouldn't vote for it because I don't want it to be a finale. Well, then good job. It's just never gonna happen if it just doesn't get support.
Yeah.
Why do you think it fell off so hard after that?
Okay, next one. Gogeta vs. Vegito was a good episode.
I agree.
Yeah.
Good take.
Also, not a hot take, but Bendy vs. Cuphead should have received an alt ending.
That's not a hot take. That's just something you want.
I mean,
yeah.
Like he said it wasn't a hot take, so that's fair. Yeah. Grumpo with $5. Ironically, I think Death Battle in any adaptation shouldn't be on Death Battle. The only exception would be like near the end of the series, like at the end of the series, Wiz vs. Boomstick. They've talked about doing that.
I'd be like, who is asking for a remaster to fight someone? Show of hands.
Actually, I have seen people. People want Ringmaster to fight the Verbalese guy.
Oh my god.
Who?
The beatbox
Let me show you how to scratch it.
Oh, Verbal Ace, yeah.
Oh, Death! Sorry, I misread it. Yeah, Death. Not Death Battle. Death in any adaptation shouldn't be on Death Battle.
Yes, I agree.
Oh.
Which, that's a different take. I'm not sure if I agree with it, because Death has some interesting adaptations.
Oh, yeah. No, actually, no, I don't agree with it, because then we would be screwing ourselves over from doing Grimm.
And Rodrigo, for the record, obviously there is a delay, so we saw your comments. I just misread it the first time. Anyway, Mega Man vs. Astro Boy still is the best OST out of every death battle, with Bill vs. Discord being right behind it. I find it funny.
It's only because still isn't even like the original track. It's just some music they use.
I find it so funny how much the people behind that matchup dislike the animation, or like the animator was really disappointed in how it came out, something like that.
Wait, Mega Man versus Astro Boy?
Yeah, that's like a well-known.
It was good.
That's like a well-known trivia thing. The person who animated it wasn't necessarily super happy with it.
And they also used like a.
I know there was a shot that was lifted from a different Mega Man animation or something like that. I'm not really familiar.
Yeah, it was when like never mind. I'm so tired. I can't explain.
You want to call it?
No,
soon?
like I've been so tired this entire match. My words have just been slurping.
Okay, well then, here's something that'll pique your interest. Mario Party.
What? Now?
No, I'm joking.
Okay, nobody special. People take who wins the battles too seriously and aren't really having fun with what's just a silly internet show. Agreed.
Wasn't that said earlier?
It kind of was. This is a different person, though.
The fact that this is a hot take is kind of sad.
It is.
That should not be a hot take.
Frankly, okay, here's the thing. I don't actually think it's a hot take. I just think people get too absorbed in it so they don't recognize how seriously they're taking everything. I think if you said this to most people, they would agree. Anyway. I legit will never love Ash versus Denji, just do Yuji for Denji, and either Herbert or Frank for Ash. Bro, who's asking for Ash versus Denji?
Yeah, like what? Dude, imagine gatekeeping.
Oh yeah, wait.
I know someone who asks for that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but like, is that really a hot take?
Hyper, is it the same guy?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Okay.
Not saying I dislike it, I just know it exists.
Oh, this is this is an interesting hot take. Megasonic, even outside of the poor conclusion, Ben vs. Hal's fight is pretty boring with very few moments that take advantage of the creativity of either character's arsenal. And it's only on Hal's end.
I kind of agree. Like,
oh god.
The fight really suffered kind of from like the lack of versatility for both parties, so
with a kill that ends up feeling more like a cop-out than anything else is the
I still like the episode. It's a good episode, I will say.
It is an episode that
if the scissors were faster, no one would have not no one, but not nearly as many people would have complained if the scissors were faster.
No, not really, because people will always bring that stupid Big Bang argument. I mean, it's not stupid, it's legit, but you know.
Okay, Shane, I agree. Some reactions aren't fun to watch just because the people/person get upset at the end of the video. Sometimes it can be really funny. Sometimes it can be funny. Sometimes it can be frustrating.
Really funny. Sometimes it can be really funny.
Like I am purposefully not going to name names, but like you have some people who it's like they get to the end of the animation for Thor vs Vegeta and just have a massive freak out, which is just hilarious in context.
I want to bring up one moment.
And then you have people at the end of Saitama vs Popeye saying that it was just a stupid matchup because of course you would win because it was Toon Force. Like why the hell would you do this in the first place? People who just get actually triggered by it.
There is one. I've only seen one reaction by this guy, but it was Steven Z Killer's Dio versus Alucard reaction. I didn't even have the audio on, and I was just watching his face movements for the entire thing. I can't read lips, but I heard the fucking bullshit he yelled as soon as the KO screen went
on. But yeah, Jason versus Myers gets too much hate, and Akuma vs Shao Kahn is a perfectly fine episode. So that's basically just saying people who like the worst episodes of the season aren't necessarily that bad. I think that's generally what this point is trying to get at.
Yeah.
I still
Also, yeah, M2 knows exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, Donte's reaction to Thor vs. Vegeta was the funniest shit.
Do you guys remember this guy named Beetle5? I'm trying to remember
No.
if that's his actual name. But he was one of the older reactors. And a Sephiroth versus Virgil one. As soon as Sephiroth stabbed Virgil at the end, he yelled no. It was completely emotionless for the rest of the video.
He just broke.
He didn't utter a single word. He just had the most... He looked like he just went through Punisher's backstory.
Also, this next take, this is not a hot take. This is just what everyone says, so I just need to call you out for that. I agree with Ben versus Hal's result. It was just explained poorly. That's literally what everyone says. Or
yeah, these days,
Us like your gift.
we gotta think. In the casual audience, they still think it's wrong for the most part.
okay, Sanguine, just for the record, the terrorism thing, I don't think he actually ever pressed the button. It was just like he was scrolling through the, he was scrolling through the report screen.
You know, you think we're gonna go on for much longer?
Honestly, I think we might end up doing a part 2 looking at the quote retreats at this rate.
Yeah, I think we should probably do that. And
I think
honestly,
we're getting towards the end of the comments. I think we can make it to 2 hours for this.
Wait, where are we now?
that would be 25 minutes.
25.
All right.
Think you could
That's
go for
what
25 more minutes or nah?
Not me. I'm so tired that I don't want to.
You guys talked over each other for no reason there.
All right, Speedy, go first.
Okay, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm so tired to the point where, like, you know, if I keep being here any longer, I know I'm just gonna say more stupid shit. So,
okay,
I'm probably again.
If you want to hop off early, that's fine.
Yeah. But we should definitely do a part 2.
Yeah, me and Red can finish up the comments here.
Maybe that'll summon Luis. You never know.
Yeah.
No.
I'm sorry, I had to.
I'm gonna stay here. No, I'm gonna stay here. I want to go.
All right. Let's do 3 more takes and see.
Also,
if that
thank you, Necreo, for the $2. No message there.
Yep.
You know, he was just being generous. You know.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, no, that was cool.
Kyle vs. Simone, I feel like it lost enough hype that I wouldn't be surprised if they do it only in season 11. 3 years after its peak of popularity has passed.
What the fuck?
That's oddly specific, but I can perfectly envision it.
I feel like the phrasing of that take was weird, but I could see it being in season 11. Yeah.
What season?
Right.
Season 11.
For Kyle vs. Simone, yeah.
Yeah, I could probably see it.
Okay, this one is just partially untrue, but let's just... No one watches Death Battle to see which character would win. They watch it to see Wiz and Boomstick work off each other. Also, right or wrong, the Death Battles are well animated.
I'm sorry, but that's not a hot take. That's just wrong.
That's not a hot take. That's just factually incorrect. A lot of people do not care at all about Wiz and Boomstick.
Yeah, no, literally, a couple of takes ago, we saw no one watches the analysis. They just skip to the fights. And now we have the inverse.
And yeah, that's the funny thing. Everyone's commenting in the chat. I know, it's the Death Battle cast now. So, like, it's really ironic seeing people talk about it here. Anyway, Dragon Ball should stop being on the show because it's now just saying how close they compared to Goku 95% of the time. That's kind of true. They didn't really do that much with Trunks, but... No, I can see that. It would be nice to get a non-Saiyan character. Let's say that, at least.
Yeah, like, you know, Frieza.
Let's see. Street Fighter vs. Mortal Kombat are overhyped and make no sense to compare these two series that are completely different from each other. True.
Oh, it's not. Oh, yeah, because
partially at least. I'm sure some matchups are good, but it doesn't feel like that clean of a series comparison.
I disagree with the whole shouldn't compare with them because, like, literally arcade rivals.
Also, Necreo with the $20 now. Trying this again, I forgot to type before. You didn't need to do $20 to post again. Season 7 was the worst season by far, having a mix of boring matchups / episodes and sometimes just bad animations. Funny enough, the only fight I like is the one not animated? Oh, right, sorry. Live action. It confused me for a second.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know if I would call it the worst season, but,
it's probably one of the weaker ones.
I can see that, yeah.
Like, modern-wise.
Yeah. Anyway, Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, I don't have any connection to personally, so I can just look at it from an outsider's point of view and say the two series don't feel like they have very much in common.
I think a particular handful will get you a good episode or a good matchup. But now that this comparison is being brought up again, I remember that fucking Watch Mojo video from so long ago. You know the one, right? Where they were comparing the two?
Yeah.
They were like, which one is better? And they had character design go to Mortal Kombat because they said Blanca can't carry the rest of the roster. The same series with fucking Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Ermac, all of those fucking ninjas in the same costume in a different color. And I'm still upset about that. Mortal Kombat 9 was the newest game when that video came out, so the designs weren't that unique yet.
I see.
Ermac looked pretty different.
I see an interesting hot take from Cryotechnics in the chat. Doing Gogeta vs. Vegito made Trunks vs. Silver lose its uniqueness since that was the first time we got introduced to Heroes / Xenoverse, and then they didn't continue.
Yeah, I can see it.
And don't worry about that. They just brought it up for the sake of bringing it up. It did not do shit for the overall animation.
It didn't really do anything, yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, I think that's it for me. I'm gonna go and get some sleep.
All right. Good night, Speedy. Or
Is
it morning? Is it morning yet for you? It probably is.
I mean, it's 1 a.m., but
technically morning. Good night, though.
Yeah.
Okay, me and you, Gumball. Let's get through the last of these comments. Woo.
Okay.
Okay, I think people let fight verdicts and the versus stuff in general detract from how they perceive episode quality far too much. I hope I can prove you wrong, personally at least. But no, I definitely see that a lot.
No, have we seen this single take like 5 times already, right?
This isn't actually the same thing. This is saying that people start disliking episodes specifically because of who loses.
Another one from Grumpo. Anime versus anime matchups are the most toxic when it comes to debates, and writing periods for either one is announced as unbearable.
Honestly, I see that it's a case-by-case basis, but I see it a good amount of the time. Like, Deku vs. Asta is an interesting one because everyone agreed Asta would win, but it was still toxic because people were like, oh, it's such a huge stomp, why the hell would they even do it? They compared Deku to Luck? What's wrong with them? Like, you know.
Alright, I've been making
anyway,
dinner,
thank you for the $5.
I've been making dinner, that's why I've been muted for this good bit. I'm gonna go wrap up on that. Hold on.
Okay, so just me then for a couple takes. Alright. Let's see. Omni-Man vs. Bardock is not that great of a matchup, and people need to stop acting like it's the best for both. I lampshaded this in the ranking. I never saw the appeal of Omni-Man vs. Bardock, personally. Omni-Man vs. Homelander just felt more fun. Just for the comparison, contrast, you know. Next, Wispy. I prefer more relatively grounded fights to the crazy magic reality warping ones. Don't get me wrong, episodes like Bill vs. Discord are great, but I think they lose some of their impact when you don't have as many fights that come down to skill, like Balrog vs. TJ. Yeah, no, I can see that. It's more just fatigue. It's the fact that you want a good variety, whereas, admittedly, this season so far has a lot of high-scale fights, like reality-bending. Guts vs. Dimitri, Killua vs. Misaka are the only two that don't have any sort of impact on a cosmic scale, I would say. Because even for Rocket versus Stitch, he has the Thanos Buster, and Stitch, even if they didn't bring much attention to it, they put him at, like, Universal. Anywho. Yeah, when it comes to Twitter, anime discussions are always the most toxic thing ever. Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know why, but anime fans are very competitive. Like, just in general. Luigi shouldn't have a rematch with Tails. Both characters have better matches. I agree. I always found Luigi vs. Tails to basically just be Mario vs. Sonic, but not. That's basically the entire vibe I get from the matchup. Yeah. I don't have much attachment to Trunks, but I really like Silver. I'm not sure if I would call him... I wouldn't call him my favorite Sonic character, but he's definitely up there. More Bieber vs. Black. Already talked about it. Eva Chuber. Given how many people want my head over this in the server I'm in, Vader vs. Obito was right. I see how Vader does have a few advantages, and the... I assume that's also Infinite Tsukiyomi. Could be a bit wonky, but Ten Tails Obito shouldn't be used is wrong when you realize the prep they mentioned is prep he already did. Yeah. And it's really fun.
Here's a question. Here's a question. So why are people upset over Obito getting the 10 tails, but Aztev can use the 3-day storm just like that? And no one bats an eye.
Because they like Vader more.
I guess. But no one has ever brought up that comparison, and that baffles me. Because they sound like the exact same thing, don't they?
Yeah. I'm looking at a conversation going on in the chat, trying to get the rundown here. Ant-Man versus Atom isn't cosmic in scale, like what they're literally... Actually, no, that's not even true. Ant-Man literally says that if Atom keeps growing, he could destroy all of reality. So, no, even that one gets cosmic, technically. Okay. Let's see. I agree with Xeno, Trunks vs. Archie, Silver. Yeah, that's fair. Jason vs. Michael is a great episode. You guys are just mean. Sad face. I assume Gumball, you went back to food. That's fair. Yeah, that's fair, I think. I disagree. I like the setting of the fight a lot, but the focus of the fight on the random other guy, I think his name is actually Sam? Or something like that. I think that was weird. It made it very strange. And also, Shem draws. We bring up Great vs. Death more than anyone's thought about the episode since it came out. I think that's probably literally just because Gumball has very strong opinions on it, and I disagree with those. Yes, what's up?
Hey, Red, look at the track. It came out.
I'll look at the track in a bit.
Guess what it's called?
Okay, hold on. You saying this makes it so that I need to look. Can you, like, DM it to me or something?
Oh, sure.
Just, like, the track art or something like that? Just so that I can have a pure reaction to it without having to search it on stream. Let's see. Inhuman. Yep, that's the right name. That's the correct name.
Yeah. That's
it's also
funny.
about the exact track art I expected. I think that's just like it's just the amp with all of the tendrils around it. Let's open this up. Yep. There it is, guys. Look at that. Look at that. Beaut. That is a weird still shot, but... Alright. Track will be available soon.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Gogeta should have beat Vegito. Listen, they're close enough that I don't really disagree with someone having that take, but trust me when I say...
Here's my take. Hey, when it comes to Gogeta versus Vegito specifically, and I know that I'm wrong here. I absolutely know for a fact that I am wrong here. Otherwise, the matchup would not be a thing. I don't give a fuck. They are the same motherfucker, man.
No, they're totally different. Come on, guys.
How about a little variety?
Anyway, yeah, I can't really disagree with someone for having the take that Gogeta should have won, but I don't agree either. Anyway, Eggman vs. Wily is awesome, but it could use a remake with upgraded graphics. We actually talked about remakes earlier, and I feel like that would just apply to this. So.
All right, so yeah, I guess a mini hot take, and a bit of lore here. Me and Red actually did work on a Wily versus Eggman script rematch back in the server's infancy around either late 2019 or early 2020. Might have been. I know it's one of those years because we had the year in the thumbnail.
Red, by the way, I just want to mention really quickly. You want to know why it's called Inhuman?
What do you mean?
Because you don't put the blame on me.
Well, I mean, yeah, I did. I just suggested it to Yates' DMs a while back to saying if he ever did do it, just name it
that's
Inhuman.
fair. The one interesting thing I find about the tracks is I feel like they actively have to try and avoid using names from commission tracks, because otherwise it would be weird to try and search them up. Like, I feel like that's entirely what happened with Discord Decipher... Or, no, what was it? Deciphering Discord.
I remember, actually, you want to know there was actually another track that was suggested by a community member that actually got put in. It was, I think, Agent Redhead, who just suggested, like, Forevermore for the Raven Phoenix track.
Yeah,
and then it was like... Yeah, and then one of the members saw that and just suggested, and it's like, then it just got made. As the track name.
Use my position of power.
Yeah.
So
Okay, yeah, no, that was what the track was. Discordant Decipher. Like the commission track was Deciphering Discord, which sounds much cleaner, but I feel like he didn't want to name it the same thing because it would be confusing to people.
Alright, so guys, real quick. For whatever reason on Twitter, someone was like, the anime community is being put in a popularity tournament that I'm in for whatever reason. The top prize is $5. I don't really care about much.
Gumball.
I just feel like having $5, man.
Gumball. I swear. Okay.
It's $5.
Okay, this is just one of those. Death Battle is so unbelievably biased towards most of their matchups that it's almost unwatchable. I mean, it depends what you consider bias. Because that's the thing some people don't acknowledge. Everyone's biased. You're biased. I'm biased. It depends how much you let that impact what you make.
Like...
And in Death Battle's case, I don't think it has much impact at all. Yeah, I don't think it has much impact at all in the case of Death Battle itself. The only thing I've ever noticed it impact is how characters are represented, not outcomes, which I'm assuming is what this person means. Anyway, if no one has any extra comments on that, I liked Rogue versus Wonder Woman, but only because I was rooting for Rogue. Okay.
What?
I mean, that's it. Like,
yeah, that's it.
It's simple.
That's the entire take. Simple.
Like, I voted for someone and they won. I like it. Cool.
But yeah, I think Aang vs. Edward Elric is a good episode, and I like it quite a bit.
Oh yeah, I agree. You're short.
I am short. Why, thank you.
You're welcome.
It technically doesn't even make fun of short people that much. Ed does it all himself, which is pretty in character. Anyway, Deku deserved a better matchup compared to what he got. It felt off to me. Also, Dragon Ball can take a break from DB for a bit. And Yang... You should have said versus. Yang versus Tifa isn't as bad an episode as people say it is. He said X.
This feels... no, he meant what he meant.
Deku... I don't really have much of a take on Deku matchups. Gon was the popular one for a while, but as soon as Asta was revealed...
I like Rock Lee versus Deku, and I like it even more because they both have terrible episodes. I just feel like both are in need of a run back at this point, especially with Deku's timing.
Also, Necreo, I see that, and I'm also listening, and the entire time I've been like, wow, the lyrics here are kind of bad.
Which matchup? What track?
Let's see, what is it? The Fight Rages On.
Oh yeah, no. That is my least. That's my least favorite vocal track, personally.
Anyway. Both combatants had more popular matchups, but I saw a lot of people get on board as soon as it was revealed, and I know it's a big thing in the anime community, apparently. Deku versus Asta. I don't know. Anyway. This is... Let me translate this one. Naruto vs. Luffy. I don't like it. Mario vs. Sonic 3 is a terrible idea. Kyle vs. Simone was quite overhyped by the entire community to the point of me getting fed up with it. And I'm not a fan of Omni-Man vs. Homelander. That's a solid list of hot takes. Naruto vs. Luffy, I totally get it. I don't think they match up like incredibly well, other than just being shonen protagonists. Mario vs. Sonic 3, I don't want it either. The only reason you could have it is, like... I love how when people said, why don't you do a full composite versus a full composite, they basically just said, oh, that technically was what the first episode was.
I don't like that excuse.
Kyle vs. Simone, we saw that take a couple times already, and Omni-Man vs. Homelander, I feel it. I understand people don't like the matchup. If you mean the episode, we did a ranking on it where we talked about it. And Ash vs. Yugi is not a good matchup. I missed that one. It's separated from the rest.
Okay.
I don't like Ash vs. Yugi in particular, but I don't dislike it much. I just know it's very unfair for Yugi under most people's metrics, although Ash has been getting buffs, I think.
I know some people say Ash stomps Yugi, which I don't believe.
No, people are saying that now, and it's funny.
And also, yeah, Shane, apparently Lee shouldn't have been upset about Sanji's cooking based on his personality. Absolutely. Like, it's his favorite food, made by, like, an insanely talented chef. How the hell was he upset with it? Anyway.
Yeah.
Soul vs. Ragna needs a remake, especially since the Soul vs. Ragna episode we got sucks so badly. I do think they can do an actually good version of that matchup now, rather than back then. It's funny, they did a revisited on that episode recently, and they actually addressed, like, that man has a name now. We could actually say what his name was. We could call back to that joke and say, no, it's this guy.
That's funny.
Well, that's the only reason they decided to do a rematch.
Luffy vs. Torko is my preferred by a long shot. Is not close from Cryotechnics in chat. Yeah, I can see it. But, no comment. They should really stop compositing some characters, but then only use a specific version for another. It depends. If you're talking about something like DC, if you weren't aware, DC did that. They composited all of the characters, all of the different versions of their characters into one, essentially. So
I think it's just Superman. I could be wrong. He could have done it for the entire verse. That sounds more online.
I thought it was for the entire verse. Alright.
He's been devoured by the wolves again.
Doomguy vs. Doomslayer don't need to appear again. There were a lot... Doomslayer in particular is a lot different from when he first appeared, so I sort of want him to reappear. I don't think...
I don't like him versus Master Chief, personally, even if I see the appeal. I'm more of a Haloid guy. Also, that one... Master Chief versus Samus is actually debatable now, I'm pretty sure. So there's a lot more interest in that for me.
Anyway, if there are 100 Luffy vs. Marvelous fans, I'm one of them. If there are only 10, I'm one of them. If there's only one, I am that one, Gavin Carth. Respect, I suppose. Again, I'm not that big into, that's Super Sentai. Yeah, Super Sentai is marvelous. Okay. I don't think a certain controversial episode from Season 1 should be erased, and I don't even consider it as horrible compared to other things big YouTube channels like Filthy Frank did during that time. We know. We talked about it. We agree, basically. Marvel vs. DC fights are not as much of a problem as people make them out to be. Nemesis made a whole video about that I think that point is kind of reflecting. Manhunter vs. Surfer was kind of mid. Other than the ending, the rest of the fight is just Silver Surfer shooting lasers while Manhunter runs away or does a slightly cool thing for a few seconds. I assume that's the dragon. I don't really have much of a take on that. I agree. Gumball disagrees. There's your response for that one.
That is a response.
They clearly don't like Bleach, hence they don't properly research the series or characters to be able to do informed death battles with them. Izum shouldn't have lost to Madara the way they depicted it. He's immortal. Even his soul can't be killed or destroyed. I don't think that's ever said in the series, and that's kind of the problem with that sort of thing. They need evidence to suggest something like that. Even if he is immortal, if his soul can be destroyed, that doesn't matter. You would need a separate piece of evidence to say that. Yeah. Let's see. Greetings from Chile. Hello, Thomas Salamanca. Michael, I don't like the Nemesis video. I still think it was way too one-sided. I can see that. I know Speedy kind of agrees with you. We're almost done. Cool. Oh, actually, no. More replies. We're almost done for today. Fox gets all of his smash moves, despite it being repeatedly stated his moves are just a reflection of the R-Wing and not taken literally. Bucky is just a rabbit with a gun, lol. Yep.
Uh-huh.
I don't think there's much to comment on there. That's ultimately the fact that they had a Fox sprite with all those animations built into him so they could use him. Whereas Bucky, his sprite was more limited. I think that's literally all it is. I think you might be reading into it a little bit too hard there. Goku vs. Superman 2 was sufficiently respectful to both characters in one of the best episodes of Season 2.
Oh, Season 2. Oh, I was all aboard until that.
Okay, actually, no, we are almost done. I clicked more replies. Sonic should have won in 2018, and Leo versus Red Ranger was stupid. Also, yeah, that's the reason it's in more replies. These are ones that got, like, auto-hidden by Twitter, because you guys, for some reason, get a little bit heated about these things.
Oh, boy. Let's have fun with this one. Are you guys ready?
Green Lantern versus Ben 10. I'm still not over it. I'm not even mad about putting Hal over him, though I personally don't scale him above Alien X. Just the way he won is stupid. Have him win in a more creative and less dumb way, please.
Alright.
Yeah, I think the kill could have been done a little bit better. Obviously... Actually, no, I don't even have a response specifically. I was going to say, obviously, they did what they did because of resources, but I don't think that's even necessarily the case. Also, yeah, cryotechnics. The cybernetic legs aren't real, just a fan theory. I think that's... yeah. Now, Rodrigo, just for the record, we were looking through the replies, the comments on Gumball's post, not the quote retweets at the moment. We can do that another time, though. Vobito is the closest to rigged that Death Battle has gotten since Yang versus Tifa. Bro, how? How? Anyway, we already talked about rigging, bias, all that sort of stuff. It doesn't really exist. Not the way people think it does. Bea versus Dante is objectively wrong. Disagree up until Bayonetta 3 came out. Bayonetta definitely should win now. I don't know if I want to click the one that... I don't know if I want to click show additional replies that may contain offensive content. I think we might just call it there.
Oh boy.
Although there is Guts vs. Dimitri was a terrible matchup. Anything Cape shit is irrelevant since they all have the outliers and it's up to the writer to choose who wins. Mortal Kombat... Is that... Is that Mortal Kombat? It just says MK, so I'm not sure. Yeah. Superman, Luffy, and Saitama are in dire need of some humbling. I don't know if that's Mortal Kombat or what, because Mortal Kombat definitely is not in need of any humbling.
What about Meta Knight?
Maybe it's Meta Knight. And they're clearly waiting for Ruby to be strong enough to beat Maka. That's not what's happening. The other ones... are opinion pieces. Ruby vs. Maka, they are not waiting for Ruby to be more powerful than Maka. Originally, they were just waiting for Silver Eyes to be explained. Now...
I don't know.
I'm not positive what they're waiting for now. I kind of want them to do it sooner rather than later. But trust me, they're not waiting for Ruby to be powerful enough to beat Maka, because at this point, that would be incredibly unlikely to even happen. And I think they realize that. Anyway, and last one, actual last one. Matches like Aquaman vs. SpongeBob, Popeye vs. Saitama, and Mask vs. Deadpool are stupid. They won because Toon Force is a stupid argument, and Toon Force should never be used for a death battle. See, I think you're partially right, partially wrong. Toon Force, as an all-encompassing thing, is dumb. What you should use is the specific showings of Toon Force. What do they do with Toon Force? What are the ways they break reality using Toon Force? And that should be included in an episode. But that's it. I don't think you should just say Toon Force means they can do whatever they want. I think you should literally find examples of what they do.
Yeah. So, I've been researching Toon Force. More
Static. Gumball static. Oh, actually, it cleared up. Go on.
Alright. So I've been researching Toon Force, more specifically stuff in the Mickey Mouse thing. I don't think this was the point being made at all, but I will say more general rule of thumb if you're researching these kind of things. Just because characters possibly skill to each other, the Toon Force abilities they have are not shared. Unless they share, if they both show that showing.
Also, the track that is playing as I speak is Boundary Immaculate. I'm not sure what matchup it is, but you can probably just look it up based off that.
Alright. So that's all the big comments out of the way now, right?
Yes, all the ones that aren't under offensive. I'm curious what you guys posted after this, but...
We gotta find out.
Guys, it's not a beaker! It's not a beaker!
It's
a flask! Anyway. Exactly. Do, re, mi, fa, beat. Bugs Bunny isn't powerful because of Toon Force. He's powerful because of what he's done with it. That's the way Toon Force should be taken. It's just a way to explain how these characters use these abilities. But Toon Force isn't just a singular ability. Different characters have different levels of Toon Force and different things they do with it. Like Popeye turning people into other objects, like quarters. Nickels, I know. Isn't necessarily just something Toon Force always does. That's something Popeye has used Toon Force to do. Alright, Necryo is leaving. Also, we're gonna be leaving soon. Just want to do a little bit of wrap-up.
Alright.
But yeah, Boundary Immaculate is Rhea versus Getsis. I can see that, yeah.
Alright.
Loki vs. Kefka is one of my most wanted matchups for Death Battle, alongside Bowser vs. Eggman and Finn and Jake vs. Mordecai and Rigby. Those are all pretty solid choices, I would say. I appreciate all of those. The Flask is going to be Rick vs. Doctor. People have said Bowser vs. Eggman, because don't forget, it during the initial cipher, it had a spiked ring around it. People have said people have said Bowser vs. Eggman for it, as well as the Doctor matchup. All Season 10 matchups are the Beaker. What's the hot take? Oh, we're done with hot takes, Ethan. Right now I'm just looking through the chatters right before we wrap up. If you guys have any hot takes, you can go ahead and share them. But we're going to be stopping soon enough. I think the Beaker is now Colex, since Alex is a scientist. He was a scientist. Clarification.
A Beaker! See, I'm having to... Oh!
I stand by thinking Eggman vs. Cortex is better than Bowser vs. Eggman, and always was.
I like the concept. It kind of falters a bit because Cortex isn't nearly into machinery as you think he is. That's more engines kind of thing.
Yeah. Cortex has like a couple hovercraft, and that's about it, usually. I'm sure he has a giant robot somewhere, right?
Engine does.
No, I said Cortex.
He has the Mecha Bandicoot that I believe Engine also made.
Engine is the engineer. That's just...
It's in the name.
Yeah, that's in the name. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Let's see. My hot take. Sonic the Hedgehog has a rough transition into Death Battle. Has had a rough transition into Death Battle. Huh?
You can't even make that joke. There hasn't been a 3D Sonic episode yet.
Biff uploaded his Billcord review. Nice. I swear, Bowser vs. Eggman better happen sooner rather than later, because I don't think we're getting a new Mario character on the show until after that happens. What other Mario characters do you guys want? Like, we've done most of the noteworthy Mario characters. I'm trying to think what's a character that they haven't done that people want. Rosalina, maybe? Colex is 100% the scales, and people need to stop pretending like it's not. It very well might be. I personally don't think it matches the matchup, like, incredibly well, but I can see it. Listen, I can't comment on that take because I don't know who those characters are. Or I don't know who that one character is, Clive Rosefield. Hot take, it's okay for people to just watch the fight in conclusion. Like you said, the analysis can spoil about the fight, and it spoils series as well sometimes. Yeah. Although, I will mention, even on that level, saying that, you're trying to avoid spoilers, even watching the fight can be dangerous. Like, imagine trying to watch, like, if Luffy got onto Death Battle at this point. Imagine being like, oh, I'm gonna skip the analysis so I don't get spoiled on what happens in One Piece. Oh, why did he just turn white?
Why is he going all 2-force on this bitch? What's going on?
Kira vs. Adachi is pretty unlikely at this point because one of the researchers commented on it very recently.
It's a shame, too, because it fits Cypher so well, and I like Adachi. I also watched Part 4. Part 4 is my favorite part, don't get me wrong. Kira probably isn't my favorite villain.
Also, quite a few people have said Waluigi versus Robbie Rotten. Which is fun. Waluigi doesn't have that much to offer, obviously, but it's fun. Okay. I think that is about time to wrap it up, then.
Alright, leave a like if you enjoyed, leave a dislike if you didn't. I'm still in Red's outro, and then...
It's a live stream, we don't really do the same outro usually anyway, but yeah, if you guys want to see another one, I think it'll probably happen, maybe next week, if that works for everyone else, but yeah. We'll see you around. I want to make sure I'm not interrupting anyone. like asking a question or something. All right, we'll see you around.
Later.